I have to say, starting in the beginning of this, that not every single thing everyone has done is going to be in this presentation. So much happened in the last year, and this is just some of the highlights, but so much beautiful work happened in 2020. So just starting with that to ground us. Also, a lot of this presentation features a lot of photography by Sara, as well as a lot of visuals that she created, in addition to a lot of beautiful photography that Aya created during our Vermont retreat. So I just wanted to give them credit where credit's due as well. Okay, so just some stats to start us off. So within the past year, Malikah's done about 50 events, trainings, and workshops. And we've gotten over 750 attendances for these events. That's not even including the MMP program, South Asians for Black Lives, a lot of the work that Hind has done. So we've reached much more than that. But these are just some estimates of what Malikah National has done in the past year. We've also onboarded chapter leads and organizers, and those programs have come out with about 20 events in total. So we really appreciate the work that you've all put into your program so far. And these are our chapter leads. I love to see your faces. And so many of you have come to open hours to talk about your visions for your communities, for our programs. And so I just really want to thank each and every one of you for being part of the program. I know you're only halfway through, but I can't wait to see where all of your visions go next. Sahar, I don't know if she's here, but she was the first chapter lead to kick off a program of her own, and it was super, super, super successful. So that was the South Asians Me Too Healing Circle, as well as, followed up by a meditation and internalized misogyny healing circle, which was really powerful. And both of those were really, really well attended. So I just wanted to share some appreciation for that, because that was really great. We had Sneha and Fatima work on their series about abolition in academia. And they've just been a power team from the start, having open hours meetings with me, and just like super, super, super driven and passionate about the issues that they are creating events around in their communities. So just sharing some appreciation for the work that they've done so far. I also can't see the chat, so if anything important comes up, please let me know. Shaista hosted a conversation and panel on gender-based violence in the Muslim community, and I just really wanted to highlight that this got over 3,000 views. So this was a super successful event. They were extremely intentional about finding partners and partnering with all different organizations who, deal with this issue. And so I just really wanted to share thanks for your work on this issue. I know it took a lot of coordination. Fartoon, pre-COVID, hosted 3 self-defense courses in person, which is amazing, and most recently hosted a virtual healing justice circle for women of color in the UK, which was really great. So thanks so much, Fartoon. Zareen did so many events. And I'm very impressed by their work. So I just wanted to share, I just pulled directly from their post eval. And they said, I hosted 7 ESL conversation sessions as part of a community-based pilot program called In Her Own Voice. We recruited participants by canvassing on Devon, which is primarily an immigrant and refugee and South Asian neighborhood. And we partnered with the Indo-American Center to host weekly sessions themed around identity, immigration stories, women's health and rights, dream communities, power, and ways to take action. So I just want to share, this is a really beautiful photo. And it's really great that you showed up consistently in that community. I also wanted to uplift that Ariana and Mystique both held events as well pre-COVID. So Ariana hosted a self-defense class at Middlebury College, along with other student organizers who were with us in Vermont for our summit. Mystique also held a self-defense and healing justice class for Black and brown bodies in North Carolina. We also had, so now I'm moving a little bit more into programs. So we had Alice and Zareen work with Rana and myself on this bystander intervention against anti-Asian violence training. And I feel like this was really significant because it was like one of the first times this year where we saw something happening in the community and immediately decided like, what can we do to help the community on what's going on. So thank you, Zareen and Alice, for your work on that event. Alize has been interning with us for 2 months. They've given our resource document a makeover, developed a new Malikah Spotlight program to highlight different folks in the community, and a lot more. So we appreciate you. We appreciate you, Alize. And if you want to throw in the link to the Spotlight nomination form in the chat, that would be great as well.
Also, I just wanted to say Alize was part of the Malikah program in Dallas 5 years ago when she was a teenager. And so it's really great to see her continuity with the program.
And then, of course, the DMV team is always amazing. And so from virtual boundary setting work to healing justice to self-defense, these powerhouses are dedicated to build safety and power in their communities. And they literally did so many events. Hind, I don't know if you want to summarize any of the specific work you've done, not to put you on the spot, but I know it's not as simple as this and you've done so much work. So I just want to give you a moment to share some of your wins this year.
So yeah, so the basic thing is that Maisha and I were able to build a very strong organization strategy after the Vermont seminar, and we have also we had a communications strategy that we were able to use to build our programs. And our online programs were very well attended and very well perceived. People really liked them. We didn't have events this past month, but we are planning more in the new year in January. We're going to resume them. So I was able to also create a boundary setting curriculum, or if you want to say lesson plan, that I also offer now in the chapter, and that's really amazing.
Thanks so much, Hind, for all your work. Sorry again for putting you on the spot. I just wanted folks to know more about what you're working on. Thank you. Okay. So just highlighting some of the biggest events we had this year. So the National Muslim Women Summit was super well attended. We had some really great guest speakers. We also had the Global Women's Iftar during Ramadan. And then we had the Malikah Allyship and Action Marathon, which was a direct reaction and response to the uptick in Black Lives Matter protests and to the brutality of George Floyd and many others. And this was a really powerful event as well. And so many different people helped work on that. So thank you all. We also had the first ever Gender Justice Summit, which was really great. We had so many great speakers. And obviously, as you can see here, we pulled a lot of folks in from the community. So Maisha did a session, Hind did a session, Sada did a session. We had so many folks attend that. So thanks for supporting that if you attended. And then I just wanted to highlight some of the artwork from this year. So we tried to incorporate some art into our event. So we did 2 Women Take the Mics, which were basically open mics specifically for women. And on both of those, we raised money for them. So they were paid for their performances. We also did a quarantine QVC event where visual artists and craft sellers were able to sell their work and make some money. We also had folks perform at the Gender Justice Summit and just tried to integrate more of that like art and joy into the work. And then speaking of Jamboard, we had folks do vision boards, both physical vision boards and Jamboard vision boards. So I just wanted to share some of that here.
And Dina, I put this in the chat, but just you led this work so beautifully as an artist, and I think that, you know, it's all over the chat. Everyone's super appreciative to see art incorporated into this work. So thank you for leading and for your leadership here.
Thanks, Rana. Hatia, I don't know if they're on the call right now, but for really holding down the healing justice community throughout the pandemic and consistently holding space. So, you know, I believe like every single month they facilitated at least one healing circle. So being someone who is reliable to just hold space for the community when they needed it. So just thanks so much for that. And then we also had a lot of other folks facilitate healing justice as well, as we tried to pull from other leaders in the community to also hold space. I don't think I have to, okay, I'll name everyone. So we had Sada work on a body image healing justice session with myself. We have Shannon working on capitalism and rest, which is the last session of the year. I'm super excited for that one. Mystique held a circle for parents specifically. I held some circles, including one on gratitude and on gender-based violence. Tereze hosted a really beautiful one on environmental justice. Amira hosted one on sociodrama, which was a really, really cool session. And I hope we can integrate one of those next year as well, because folks were role-playing and really captivated by that one. Rana, of course, did one for organizers, and outside of our regular healing series, did one for Swana women and many other healing circles. Lena hosted circles specifically for Black women, and Sneha hosted a healing circle about academia. So thank you all for your work. I also just want to hold that Jaylan launched her Malikah study group during Ramadan to honor the legacies of Muslim women throughout history. And it seems like it's really flourished and grown into a really beautiful community. It's still active. And so that's definitely a really beautiful space that was created this year that didn't necessarily exist before. And I know a lot of folks from the healing circles also attend these study group circles. And so just a really great program. Halima can't fit all her work into one slide, but a quick sum up is leading on South Asians for Black Lives. And her and her team at South Asians for Black Lives reached 45,000 people through educational programs and raised 9.7K for Black-led organizations. So really, really powerful work. And I'm super excited to see what they do next. I know that Halima and Rana are also working on a training series. So they held a training on allyship for white women at their nonprofits, and they're working on other ones as well. So just really amazing leadership. We also had MMP, led by Rami, put on some great events such as MMP Talk series and events around combating gender-based violence, which I know Hind also collaborated on. We expanded Malikah's capacity with staff. Pa Osman was not available for the retreat, so I tried to stick him in the picture. But we do have staff now, which has increased the capacity to host more events and do more work as well.
Can I just real quick, I just want to really lift the fact that like everyone on this image, so like Dina, Sara, Osman, all came on this year, have done incredible work. The only person, Noor, has been part of the organization for a decade, so she has been here for a minute, and was one of the first people, like when we first hosted that self-defense class, she was in that room. And just like the incredible work that Dina, Sara, Pa, Usman have collectively done, Noor, that have collectively done to just, and I know Dina's going to talk about it, to hold this organization together and to be able to have paid staff has been really, really incredible. So I just want to thank you all so much for the work that you've done and for being our first staff.
Thanks so much, Rana. Speaking of Rana, As per usual, nothing stops Rana from organizing in her community. She built out more curriculum this year, built us some really strong partnerships for 2021, launched a board, and did so many trainings. And this beautiful picture that Sara took was from the Astoria Park self-defense class, which is one of the few in-person socially distanced events that Malikah was able to do, which is really beautiful. Sara got We Are Malikah to 16.1 thousand followers and started Malikah Mondays, which is a weekly feature to share our training content with more people who need it. And also gave Malikah.org a makeover, as well as sharing really, really relevant educational graphics with the community and being on top of current events. So yeah, thank you so much for all the work you do, Sara. Nor got our name officially changed from Wise to Malikah, which is awesome, as well as obviously, getting people paid, doing our tax audits, and all the amazing behind the scenes work that needs to get done for Malikah to function. So thank you so much, Nor, for everything you do. Osman has been working hard to identify a funding stream so that we can pay folks for their labor. And he also facilitated an internal anti-racism training for the Malikah staff and South Asians for Black Lives group. In addition to that, also, I believe, got us an emergent fund grant, which is really amazing. So his work is super important to making sure that folks get compensated for their labor. Also just uplifting that we launched an official internal team site, which is a secure community hub for all the resources Malikah has developed over the past 10 years, hopefully making the work that you all do in the community more self-sustainable so folks can go ahead and find all the resources they need to facilitate their events.
I just wanted to intervene to say Dina launched an official internal team site, which took a lot of time and energy and has been like a goal and dream personally for me, like I've always wanted to have that internal hub, and it's going to be an incredible resource for years to come. And so really just so much gratitude for all the work and labor that went behind that.